y'all. How you perking? I hope you perking good. So, the Menendez brothers. This has been a highly requested video, and I figured that we may as well have this be the first installment, the first episode, if you will, of our Spooktober series here on the channel for the month of October. So just wanted to have something like true crime related, could even be looking into things like, you know, cryptids or whatever, things that, you know, kind of fall under the category of Spooktober, so that we can, you know, have a little bit more stuff here on the channel besides just current events, just politics, things like that have been going on in the world. So I've got a list of questions here from y'all that y'all have wanted about the Menendez brothers and the current state of things here. We're going to be looking into these questions today, see what we can find out, see what we can learn here, and I have no idea how this is going to go. I'm a little bit nervous, not going to lie. These are some intense questions. Y'all are asking, are the brothers manipulators / liars in any way, shape, or form? Some people worry that there's some manipulating going on. Did they do what they did to their parents for money, for revenge, or for, as they said, because they were scared for their lives? Are they going to be getting a new trial now as a result of new evidence that has come forward? And are they going to get freed / released from prison now because of this new evidence that has come forward? Or at any point in the future, instead of where they're sitting now, which is life without parole. So I'm sure that everybody watching this already knows who they are, but just as a little quick and dirty here, they're brothers from Beverly Hills that in 1989 they shot and killed both of their parents. And they've been in jail ever since. Well, they were in jail. They had a trial. The trial ended up in a hung jury mistrial type situation. Then they had another trial where they were convicted of first-degree murder, and they've been in prison ever since that. So they've been in some kind of incarceration type situation for 35 years now. And new evidence has come forward that might make a difference. And apparently there's a lot of documentaries or docu-series or drama series or things like that on various different platforms out there. So we're just going to look into these questions today based on what y'all have asked, and let this start off our Spooktober series by doing this. And Teddy's back there licking the couch or the wall. Teddy, what are you doing, son? Okay, we're just going to proceed, and we're just going to ignore the shizzy that's licking the wall and the couch and, you know, messing up all the pillows here. Okay, maybe he's made a spot and he'll stay. Alrighty, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this. I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos we take a look at the tea with the tarot. Don't let that freak you out. Got a good track record here on the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the cards over here so we can see them, and move this microphone right here. And you'll probably see Teddy back there still laying down, having a good old time. So let's see what we can find out by way of these questions. And like I said, I don't know where this is gonna go, but we're just gonna go with the flow. We're gonna see whatever we're allowed to know from the spirit guides, whatever we're allowed to get, and we're gonna find out from there. So starting off with the question about whether the brothers are manipulating anyone in any way in regards to their case. There have been people that say, no, there's no manipulation. This is purely that they went through some horrific things that I can't even talk about here on YouTube. Some horrific things as they were growing up at the hands of their father, who did those horrible things to them, and their mother, who did nothing about it. And that's all that went on. And some people are like thinking, well, I don't believe that, or I do believe that, but it's not an excuse, or I've heard that they've said and done things to, try to manipulate people or manipulate the direction or whatever. So people have been wondering, and we're going to ask if they have been or are manipulating / lying in any kind of way relative to this case. Did y'all see that flying out, or did you just hear it? Because it flew out. So let's see what we've got here. Interesting. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to get any context cards right now. I'm just going to start with this. Oh, and as always, pretty much always have to do this anymore, but 5/13 on Wednesday, October 9th at the time of filming this, just in case that becomes relevant, because sometimes it does. So we'll see. I don't know. From what I'm looking at here, this is a good card to see in terms of truthfulness. So I am glad to see this card. It's a card about truth. It's a card about evidence, in this upright position. So that is a good thing to see in their favor. But there is a little bit more to this than just that. You notice we have that, but then we've got two reversals here, another reversal, and then these two cards that are kind of, mixed in how we interpret their meaning. So this is like, yeah, here's some truthfulness and here's some evidence presented forward, but there's some kind of people around them that are not so great. And whoever this Empress card in reverse around them is also, how would I put this? Responsible for putting things in a way that could be considered manipulative. So far they're saying, decent things about the guys, but something about people around them that either they are convincing them to say things a certain way, or that they wanted to have things framed a certain way, and so they, were kind of encouraging them to frame things a certain way. There's some kind of encouragement or coaching or something like that does start to get into manipulative territory here by people around them. And this could have been, back around the time that their trials were going on in the early 90s, or that can be up through now. But I do see that. Now down here though is where it starts getting into some territory where it makes me wonder about the brothers themselves a bit. Again, we got this card to start off, which is a good card about truth and about bringing evidence forward. So I don't know that I would feel comfortable saying, no, they're liars. They're lying about this or that or the other. If they're saying that certain things, certain egregious things were happening to them, I wouldn't necessarily see in here that is untrue, but I do see something that feels like it is either a manipulation or not fully true. And as I'm reading this, I don't know everything about this case. I presented to you what I'm aware of, and I don't know much beyond that. So I'm reading this, I won't say cold, because I did know those facts about it, but I'd say I'm reading this lukewarm. And from what I'm looking at here, there is something that does make me kind of raise an eyebrow about the brothers. This is a kind of confusing card, possibly an obfuscating card, possibly a look this way, not this way type of card. This is when you jumble things together and we've got a mixed bag. So like, here's these truths and here's some things sprinkled in that maybe aren't. Like, you know, we've got some good things on this card, but we've got a snake in the grass over here. We've got a dragon over here, you know, so it's like, okay, we've got some good stuff here, but there's a couple of things here that it's like, what about that piece though? What about that piece? So that would suggest some type of reason why people would be interested in maneuvering things a little bit. Especially when we've got this moon card upright right next to it. This is a moon card upright. If it was in reverse, I'd be like, oh yeah, spilling it all. Just spilling, just saying everything, just letting it flow out. But when it's in the upright, there's still something that's kind of pushed down, something that's still kind of hidden and still in the darkness behind the veil some kind of a way. So I don't know that everything is fully out. And there's something here that feels a little bit hidden when it comes to the brothers. So again, not calling them liars, got a good truth and evidence card here, but there is something that feels like some kind of spin or some kind of, we really want you to look at these things, but please pay less attention to these things. So there is a sense of, I'm trying to highlight certain things for y'all to look at, and I'm trying to push down and hide some other things that I would not want y'all to look at. So for people that are thinking this is purely like cut, dry, and simple, you know, bless their hearts, victims through and through, let's, you know, there's nothing that they should be accountable for, and there's nothing that they have, you know, told mistruths about or something. There's, you know, I don't necessarily see that to be the case. They're human, they're fallible, they're imperfect like the rest of us, and I think that they're capable of you know, trying to highlight some things and hide other things, trying to push some things in the limelight and keep some other things away, which by the definition of the word can fit into manipulation. So, you know, take that as you will. That's just what I'm seeing. I see what I say. That's that. I can't squeeze certain things out of the cards if it's not there, but if it is there, I gotta say it even if it doesn't sound nice or, you know, whatever. So I see that starting off. I'm going to pull these up because this kind of starts to lead into some of these other questions that people have, which is kind of the motive here. There's people that I'm looking on my list here have said, you know, did they do this to their parents for money? Did they do it for revenge? Or did they do it for, like how they said, that they were scared for their lives? That they, I guess if you say you're scared for your life, that means you literally think your parents are going to, you know, off you. So you decide to do them before they do you. That's what it sounds like to me if I hear somebody saying I'm afraid for my life. So I'm going to kind of get a sense for that, because there seems to be, you know, different opinions whirling out there around that. And some people are saying it's simple, it's one or the other, and some people are like, it's more complicated. Maybe there's kind of a mix of things going on. So let's take a peek at what we're looking at here, just to see what it could be. Alrighty. Let's see here. Oop, one at a time. There we go. Okay. Okay. So, once again, I will say that there looks like there's a mix of things. So I don't think that this is super cut and dry. The way people were asking me questions for me to do this reading made it seem like there was something about this that was pretty cut and dry, but I don't think it is. And I imagine that's the case, considering if they had a trial and then it ended in a mistrial, then they had another one that ended in a conviction. That must mean if you have to have multiple trials and they're ending multiple ways, then that alone means there's kind of some confusion or something that lacks clarity, or it's not that simple or whatever. So I guess it's unsurprising to see that, hey, even the motive is not that simple. I am seeing several different things. So with this card, Silver Linings card, which is kind of like, I need to see that there's silver linings here. I need to see that there's some point in staying here, which to me sounds like if somebody is kind of themselves wishing that they did not exist or whatever, and it would be easier to want to still exist if they could have this silver lining. So it's kind of like, I guess in that case, it's similar to the fearing for your lies, but not exactly. It's just kind of like, I hate how my life is so much like this, that if I just had hope it could look a different way, I would be more interested in continuing to live it. So it kind of has that us versus them type of thing again. Either it's them that goes or it's us that goes. That doesn't necessarily to me read as I'm scared for my life right now. It more reads as I don't want to live like this, and this is the way that I can get to that silver lining and not have to live like this anymore. So that's a little bit different than I'm scared for my life, but it kind of goes in that camp. Here though, this is a money card and it is a control card. So there does seem to be something about money in this motive. So I know that there's people that really don't think that has anything to do with it. I am seeing it come up in here that it was a factor. Maybe it wasn't the biggest factor. Maybe it was just a smaller factor. Either way, I'm seeing it come up here as a factor, money and control. That could mean like I want to have control over how to spend this money, or it could mean I'm worried that one day I will not have control over this money and I want to make sure that I still do, or something like that. So some kind of a way it is a sense of wanting to have money, wanting to have control over money, access to money and control keeps coming up here. That did play a part some type of way. So for people who are like, no, it had nothing to do with that, I'm sorry, I don't see that to be true here. Again, all alleged, just my interpretation, okay? All of this is just all alleged, just my interpretation, all right? Putting that out there for the YouTube overlords. And this is like, yeah, come hell or high water, we've got to figure this out, walk away, get some distance, do what needs to be done, whatever. So this is a desperate type of top row here, one aspect of which clearly does talk about money and control. These other aspects are a bit more emotional and a bit more mental, and both of them have to do with this need of getting away. So interesting where this is kind of starting. Going down here to this bottom row, we've got our Page of Swords in reverse, our Six of Swords in reverse, and our Empress card in reverse. All these reversals back to back. And the fact that a lot of this is Swords energy here, that's some confusion. So in some ways, there's also this element of I'm not entirely fully sure what I did or why I did it. I can't fully wrap my brain around what the hell happened here. And you know, I imagine that any of us can kind of relate to sometimes if we do something or say something that we just kind of feel like has to be done, and then afterwards we're like, what did I do? What did I say? I can't even wrap my mind around why I even really did that or said that. This just happens to be like a very extreme version of that kind of feeling. But that's what this is kind of showing up here, as that there is some sort of like, this is a whirlwind and I'm kind of even confused about what I did or why I did it, or what, you know, like there's too much to process for me to fully form and understand that. So there's a lot of nuance in that type of feeling. I don't even know a name for that kind of feeling, but it's presenting itself here as well. And then, you know, with this Six of Swords, it's kind of a bit of a twofer, because it's relaying back to these cards here of, again, this feels like things are staying bad or not getting better. So there is that sense of, if it's staying bad or not getting better, and I really need to have these silver linings, have some sort of hope that it could get better, then come hell or high water, we've got to figure out a way to make it better. So again, that kind of getaway desperation. None of these things that are coming up feel exactly like what I'm looking at here by the questions. Like people saying, did they do this for revenge? Feeling like, you know, oh, I've got to get away and I want the control and money and I've got to get away, and, you know, I'm kind of not really sure what's going on. That doesn't really feel like revenge necessarily, but it doesn't feel like... It does feel like money is a part of it, but it doesn't feel like money is the entire part of it. There were several other components here. But then being scared for their lives, yeah, there's a desperation in getting out and having hope that something could be different and be better, but that doesn't necessarily equate to, I am afraid for my life, like you would if, you know, somebody was oh goodness gracious, if somebody was robbing your home and pointing a gun at you or something like that, and you felt like you had to do something out of self-defense. So this is really complicated here. Really complicated. I'm not really seeing the revenge thing, though you can kind of think of getting away sort of like that, but it doesn't really fit. I am seeing some money and control come up, so got to be honest and say that I do see that as a factor here. But overall, there's a lot of confusion. What did I do? I don't quite understand this. I can't quite process what happened. Just want to have hope that something can be different and come hell or high water. It has to. So the biggest vibe out of this is desperation. That's the biggest vibe here. And lots of moving parts within that for where that comes from and what that looks like and how that feels and how that gets processed. So, whew, that's kind of a lot, actually. You know, that's pretty deep. That's like I said, nuanced. So let me draw these up here and reshuffle so we can get into our other questions. And while I am shuffling this, if you would like to be a member of the Perk Squad, the Perk Squad gets lots of extras for the channel here. You get extra videos, extra posts, weekly forecasts. You get your own little Penelope here by your name and your own emojis. And you get shout outs like this one. Shout out to you, Horse and Man. And thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. Happy to have you here, of course. So shout out to you, Horse and Man. Awesome. Alrighty, so if y'all want to join the Perk Squad, blue join button down below, or whatever color it is now, I don't know. There's a join button down below, and there's a link in the description box too if you need to copy and paste it into a web browser. So, anywho, let's look at the next question. I'm all shuffled up here, I think. People have asked me, are they getting a new trial now because of new evidence that has come out? Apparently there is a letter that came out that's important, And apparently there is some famous boy band member that has said, yeah, their dad was doing those horrible things to me as well. So, you know, another person who got mishandled when they were young, if I'm gonna put it that way, on YouTube. That those are the things that have come forward, and so people are wondering if they're going to get a new trial now. So let's just look into the potential of the Menendez brothers getting a new trial now. It is interesting that out of all the times I've shuffled, I keep coming up with this Empress card in various placements here. So there is some kind of underlying energy that card is bringing here that thematically strings from pool to pool to pool to pool. So it's like a common thread that has stayed in all of this, which is very interesting. But in terms of potential for a new trial, this is interesting. Because the way that this Page of Pentacles upright is coming out, this is like, yeah, there's new evidence. New evidence means I can ask for this kind of a thing. I can ask for a new trial because of this new evidence. And it coming upright shows that it, from their perspective, is legitimate enough for it to warrant a new trial. And the Lover's card upright over here is kind of like, okay, we've got a good team together, we've got a good partnership here, we can find a way to do this. So this looks like being legitimate in terms of asking for a new trial and having a good strong partnership by which to do that. However, these other 4 cards here are maybe not so positive around the idea of having a new trial. So this is like, yeah, not gonna move forward like that. Yeah, it's hard to really get that kind of seed planted here. Like, it would take a lot to plant this new garden and try to water this new garden and try to get it to grow. In other words, it's kind of like, yeah, it's too involved. That would take a lot of time, money, resources, work, whatever, to get that to go. Don't know about that direction. 7 of Swords here in reverse is kind of like, yeah, you'd have to really figure out how to press and push and you know, try to get that forward. And the Hermit card is kind of a laying low and a silence kind of card. So when you get that, to me it feels like, even though they do legitimately have the right evidence and the right team to request a new trial, it doesn't look like whoever it is that grants that says, yes, you can have a new one or whatever, whoever that is, I'm not seeing a lot of impetus behind that to have that happen. The way they're making it seem is, again, like whoever makes that decision thinks that would take too much, like, time, energy, manpower, resources, etc., and they don't have interest in going that direction, I guess, is how that feels here. This is like, you know, let's just lay low and be quiet on this kind of thing. Like, we can shine a light on it without having to, you know, open up a whole new can of worms. So, that doesn't necessarily sound outright dismissive, but for us to have 2 cards that are kind of like, yeah, new trial, and then 4 cards that are like, pump the brakes, maybe not so much, then to me, probability of a new trial, 2 against 4, which is not good here. Yeah. It just, that's not good here. Sorry. Okay. In that case, in that case, we still have this other question though. If it looks like there's more probability of not getting a new trial than getting a new trial, again, 2 against 4 doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just there's more things in favor of not getting a new trial here. Is there some other kind of thing or way in terms of like getting freed or released from prison now, or not, at least not having to spend life in prison without the possibility of parole, which is what they are currently, the sentence that they're currently serving. So let's dig into that, see if there's maybe a different kind of thing forward here beyond this whole new trial thing, because that's not perking too good. Let's see. Let's shuffle these up here and take a peek at that. And I guess as I'm shuffling here, if you'd like to book a private reading, BeasTalksAndTarot.com is my website. You can book a private reading. Got various different options there for booking a private reading. Also, you can book a private Reiki Energy healing session for cleansing and clearing and insights. If you feel like that can be helpful to you, you can also book an intuitive healing session if you feel stuck, you need help, you feel like things are holding you back, you feel like you want insights to help, move forward, and just basically have someone help hold your hand to get you to a place where you feel like, okay, I can life now. Then that's there. And then also tarot tutoring for anybody that would like to learn to read tarot cards the way I read the cards. Then tarot tutoring is also there on my website. So all that's there on my website. If you have any questions about what those types of sessions entail or pricing or anything like that, all of that is there listed on my website, including a calendar that shows all of my available dates and times in your time zone that you select. So all that's there, BeasTalksAndTarot.com. So big question here in terms of what does it look like with the probability of the Menendez brothers getting freed from prison? I've seen a lot in the questions that people have given me, like, oh my gosh, does it look like they could get let out? It looks like, maybe there's new evidence they could get let out. So, it seems that a lot of the people who've been asking for me to do this reading have been really, interested in that particular question, and they feel like, no, legit, they really could get let out. So I'm like, oh snap, you really, like, can you just get released? I mean, like, I don't know. So let's see, probability of the Menendez boys getting released here from prison soon, some kind of way, whatever way that is, however that works in the legal system. So let's see what we've got going on here around that, as we've got tippity taps of all these puppies coming in and out. Bodie just left. Now Scoot just came in, and Teddy's chewing his ass on the couch. Scooter jumped on the couch too. It's a play-by-play. The boys on the couch. So tippity tap, everybody. Is this the only card? Yeah. Okay. So, alrighty. Let's see. Any context cards that I want to get? I'll get one over here. Why not? One over here? Okay. So we've got another mixed bag. Kind of like we did at the beginning, where the answer was kind of like, it's complicated. I'm getting that here. So I don't think it's as easy as, hey, we've got new evidence, they can be released from prison now. I don't really see that it's that easy. I see that there's more stuff involved than just that. And not gonna lie, some of these cards don't look the best, although some of these cards have some hope involved. So from what I'm seeing here, these two don't look very good. This, again, is kind of that not getting a whole lot better type of card. And this is a card that when I get it in the upright position in a lot of readings that I do that have to do with the legal system, incarceration, etc., this is a person, quote unquote, behind bars, so to speak. You know, the visual of this card usually comes up in those readings when people are locked up. And so if we're asking about them becoming freed, I get that they are currently locked up, but if we're asking about them getting freed, we'd kind of expect for this card to come up in a reverse position. So for it to come up in the upright position, there's something here that doesn't feel like it's as simple as, yeah, we can take this new evidence and they can just be freed. They can just be released. It seems like there's more going on here. So as we get to some of these other cards, these are okay in that it's like, okay, here's some information, here's some decisions that can be made, and it can be made in a way that reverses this Nine of Swords, which is good. This here is like, okay, anxiety, I'm stuck, I'm freaking the fuck out. In reverse, it's like, okay, I'm getting unstuck, I'm getting less anxious, I'm not freaking out as a result of whatever this communication and this evidence and this stuff that's happening fast, whatever that is, it can help pull things out of that, you know, that zone of like, this is all heavy, this is all a lot, this is all whatever. This card here is like, yeah, there's insights and the worst of everything is behind us. So that's also good. So these things make it seem like that there is going to be, you know, more evidence, more communication, more clarity, more insights, more things that are going to be coming that can help feel like the worst of everything they've been through is already over, and helps to get them out of a heavy, dark place, so to speak. So these do feel uplifting, releasing in some ways, liberating in some ways, but it doesn't feel like here you can just leave or you get out or whatnot. Now there's 3 boys on the couch behind me. Good heavens. They're putting pressure on me, I bet. It doesn't quite look like that. And when we're going down to this bottom row, our 5 of Swords upright and our 2 of Cups upright, again, come hell or high water, we really feel like we need this to happen. And this, again, we've got this partnership. We've got this way. We've got to be able to, you know, figure this out with this partnership. It feels like something good for them can be done, but it doesn't quite, to me, feel like it reads as released. Like, we can do something good here. This is kind of like a help in your direction, but it doesn't necessarily feel like, okay, and now you're free to go. So let me pull a few more cards on this, just see if we can get any more clarity on why that is, or what that really means or refers to here. So, Okay, so this is kind of like, you know, if we get all of our ducks in a row, which could take some time to get our ducks in a row, could take some time to kind of make sure we've dotted all our I's and crossed all our T's, then yes, we can get some kind of a distance here, and this will be a happy ending. But it, again, it doesn't necessarily read as like just being let go. So there, and I'm not a legal person, as we can see here. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know exactly what that could mean or what those possibilities could be, but it does look like something good could happen for the Menendez brothers, and that this would be seen as a positive thing for them. But it's not as simple as we have new evidence, you're released. It looks like it would take more than just that they would have to get more ducks in a row in a very tangible way, and that something else kind of would need to happen for us to get to that type of a point. So I don't know, are there other ways that something could happen where it would be like, yeah, that's not the ideal thing, that's not what they were hoping for, but that's good, they'll take that, that's better than what they have now, that's, you know, that's a good thing, that's positive, we're going in a good direction. Like, there's something that feels like we're going in a good direction for them, but it's not what everybody would be like, you know, I guess voting for all these people out here that are like, I vote to set them free, I vote that, you know, it's done, let it go, blah blah blah, move on. Not that simple. Anything else on this that we can see around this? Again, honestly, it keeps coming back down to these common threads here. Remember at the beginning, because this is the Ten of Swords in reverse is kind of like shooting yourself in the foot, self-sabotage, etc. In the beginning, they were saying things like around the question of kind of lies or manipulations about like, yeah, they were maybe, you know, not quite honest about everything, or not quite, you know, telling it all, or they were kind of trying to get things to go a certain way or look a certain way, you know, highlight certain things, hide other things. That kind of a thing looks like it comes up again against them. That is one of the reasons why it can't just be completely smooth and fast and easy or whatever, and completely simple as just release them or whatever. There's something else there to take a look at, to consider, that quote unquote is their own doing, like that they sowed those seeds themselves. And speaking of sowing seeds, with our Empress card, this has come up in basically every single pull that we've done this entire reading. A reversed Empress card is like the literal theme for this entire process for the Menendez brothers. And at the beginning, it was kind of standing for some female figure, or at least feminine energy in a male figure that was doing something in some kind of a way that in the long run just isn't all that helpful. And since it keeps kind of coming up, this idea of planting bad seeds, can't water this garden, can't make that grow, can't, you know, this is not as fertile soil as it would look like. It gives me the feeling of like how people say systems are slow to change. People have a complicated relationship with our judicial system over here in the United States. And seeing something like this makes it seem like, you know, people are all the time saying we need judicial reform, we need some kind of a way to improve the justice system. But the thing is, even if many of us can agree on that, what and how that looks like is still complicated. What and how that looks like is not going to be something that changes really fast. So it could be that they're kind of up against a big system that is slow to change, that is reticent to change. And so it's not as simple as here's new evidence, just let them free. There's something else with these cogs that turn slowly. And, you know, I don't know if it's like, well, the justice system doesn't want to look wrong in this case, or if it's like, you know, people could write in and protest a decision to release them and that would make a difference here, or whether it would look like, you know, oh, we can't just erase a decision that was made in several trials or something. There's just something here that feels like people see things as being super simple. Just do this. It's simple, duh. And then other people are like, but it's not that simple, and it's about a system, and that is slow to change, and we need more ducks in a row, and it's more complicated. You know, I don't know. And it looks here like they may have done some things, the brothers, that, you know, kind of gets in their own way relative to that. That there may have been some missteps that now those things are going to be considered. So I don't know about the likelihood of them just being free. I don't know about that. This has been a very interesting read in terms of everything that's come up in all of these questions. Y'all asked some really good questions here. This has been intense. I feel for the guys, because they were saying at the very beginning we got that upright Ace of Pentacles card that looks like a lot of what they have said is truth. But then there's some other stuff here that is not so clear and perhaps not so truthful. There are potential manipulations involved. There's a lot of nuance to the motive, and there's a lot of crap to get around in the justice system for things like a new trial or just being released to happen, and that has looked not as promising as what some people would have thought. So, looks like there's avenues worth exploring here. Looks like there's some things that could come down the pike that could be promising and positive for the brothers. But it looks like we're gonna be kind of examining this for a little while yet in terms of seeing where this goes, because it's not over till it's over kind of thing. So with that, it's our first Spooktober reading of October here, and we will have more, whether it's true crime, whether it's looking up something that's even sillier or more fun or whatever, you know, we'll be doing that. I'll also continue to look up our current events and track what's going on in our political sphere as we are approaching the 2024 presidential elections. So got more videos on that coming up here. Y'all let me know what you think on this, what you feel about the case and where it stands and where it's been and where it's going and all that kind of stuff. Sound off below. And there will be some more puppy shenanigans. I know there were already some in the video, but there will be more puppy shenanigans in terms of putting a B-roll here at the end, so that if anybody feels like we need to lift and lighten the mood some more, then hopefully you'll get a little smile or a chuckle out of whatever B-rolls I put on the end of this. So stay tuned for all of that stuff. And don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Believe me. Believe me. Bye, y'all. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. Good morning. Good morning, Tootie. Good morning. Look at Snooze. Give me Kiki. Oh my goodness. Can't see your eyeball. Look at this baby. Look at the baby. Look at that baby. Oh my goodness. Did you? I think you did. I think you did brush your hair with firecrackers. You're very, very connected to seeing what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. Scooter, get off of his stuff. Scooter licks places he should not be licking. Look at you. Are you a little boy? Look at, oh. Oh, oh man. Oh man. Man. Yeah, baby. Oh, booty. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Way to. Wow. Bull in a china shop. Wow. More bull in a china shop. Shenanigans. Okay. He's trying to stretch. Ooh. He stretched out our little deer and our little legs. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all want to see me disturb the peace? I'm fixing to disturb the peace. Hey everyone. You want your breakfast? 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 Let's get some breakfast! Let's